As she pulls on her black stockings and complains that the tight skirt makes it hard to move, she feels shy enough to ask our hero if she really has to wear such a strange outfit. Though shy, the pink-haired girl admits the clothes actually help her move better. Our boy quickly tells the girl her old clothes won't work for running away tonight, reminding her they aren't on a picnic but trying to save their own skins. Right then, the girl beamed as she proudly displayed the wedding dolls he'd given her as her most precious treasure, only to have the protagonist fly into a rage and scold her for wasting time on nonsense, demanding she pick up the pace. Looking back, we see how a curvaceous woman quickly invited him to join a cultivation sect and drag him into this trouble. Without hesitation, our little hero took the deal right away, not minding their talent level at all. But that happiness didn't last long, for the group was suddenly called evil and war broke out. The boy, who was thought to be nothing but a waste, got tossed into the front lines just to be used up like cannon fodder. On a mission, he fell into a coma and was pulled back to life by a peasant girl named Siada, spending months healing at her home until he lost all desire to return to the battlefield. Suddenly, a ridiculous explosion blows the hero away, while crushing spirit pressure flattens everything nearby, and a giant monster avatar crashes down from the sky to tear the whole village apart. Seeing that there's no way out of the war, the protagonist shouts at Sharada to grab their things and run immediately. She wraps her arms around him tightly, telling him that she doesn't care about living forever, only about spending her life safe with him. His face turns red when she speaks. Then he grabs her hand, and they run away together. Under the cover of night, they run hand in hand, vowing that as long as they stay together, any place can feel like home. Our boy is actually a reincarnator stuck with a broken system because he has no talent. Once he begged to join many cultivation groups, but every time someone rejected him for being useless, even the tough masters told him his bones were broken. Feeling hopeless about his uselessness in a magical world, the little hero thought his sad fate was set until a terrifying scream suddenly stopped a fleeing couple in the middle of the forest. Suddenly, the Jade Maiden sect master appeared right in front of them, radiating a killing intent. With a sword drawn, a minion demands to kill the rival woman on the spot, but the platinum-haired master waves her off, only for our hero to suddenly get hit in the face by an invisible force and fly backward in agony. With disgust in her eyes, the master promises to spare the boy's life if he hands over the rival sect plans, but spitting blood, the protagonist laughs in her face and warns that trash of his level doesn't know any damn thing. The platinum-haired woman lets out a disgusted sigh at his boldness, while her blonde lackey steps up to calm her down and tell her not to worry about such small matters. The pink-haired girl steps forward, pleading for their mercy on the boy's account, while the blonde grins with sadistic delight to mock their bond. With a quick and cruel slash, the swordswoman splits the poor girl in half without any mercy. Our hero stands frozen in disbelief, unable to believe the strange sight he just saw. Tearing up, he screams her name with every bit of air in his lungs as she hits the ground. Struggling on the ground, the boy begs for mercy for an innocent bystander, but the killer sneers that anyone who sided with the enemy deserves to burn in hell. With her sword pressed against the boy's face, the blonde girl demands one last apology, so the hateful little protagonist spits back at her with all his might. Without a second thought, he swears he'd never give anything to a scumbag like her, and so enraged by her boldness, she slashes her sword across his face. As the kid screams in agony from his fatal wound, he collapses to the ground and uses his last breath to curse the people who claim to be on the right side. With her back turned, the platinum-haired master orders that evil must be crushed with cruel axe, and the hypocritical disciples simply agree to her madness without asking questions. The blonde wastes no time, driving her sword deep into the boy's chest to end it all. As death closes in, the hero scratches the names of his killers into his skin, vowing that their blood will be his in a life to come. Right as the boy hits rock bottom, the broken machine finally clicks on, and the story instantly jumps to a war camp far away. When our boy opens his eyes, he finds himself upside down on a bed, completely confused about what's happening. He stares up at the ceiling, wondering if he's really dead or just dreaming, until a woman's voice suddenly snaps him out of it by telling him he's finally awake. He turns his head and suddenly sees a scantily clad woman standing right in front of him. She stepped up to him, introduced herself as Senior Sister Fong, and told him she found him almost dead and had to use dual cultivation to keep him alive. Worried about the war, the hero briefly sets aside the bad behavior and rushes to ask about the fighting. She smiled with relief and told him that their group had won because the master with silver hair had lost just yesterday. Stunned that the enemy sect is gone and the platinum-haired master is caught, the boy stares at his hands in shock, realizing the wounds from that attack should have killed him on the spot. With a cruel grin spreading across his face, Our hero tastes revenge and decides to strike the final blow himself, since the broken master is trapped and waiting. As soon as the boy leaps out of bed, he rushes off to find blood for the one he loves. Just as he thinks it's safe, a woman suddenly grabs him from behind, whispering that their training isn't over yet before leading the child back to bed and promising him a painless experience with a seductive voice. Right next to his ear, the crazy woman whispers that she'll kill him with so much pleasure just to steal his life force. In a total panic, the protagonist realizes he's been reborn only to get drained dry and killed by a greedy witch. Just as he's about to meet his end, a blue screen suddenly pops up in front of him, telling him that the personality correction system is now online. Hearing the noise in his head, the kid freezes with no idea what to do, so he reads the strange system's name to find out how it can save him. The screen flashes with a warning that anyone who hates him with 100% will be forced to change, while also promising top-tier rewards. Pressing the child down onto the bed, the woman in red squeezes him and asks why he is fighting back so hard. As soon as the system scans the naughty woman, it sees her evil meter is full and ready to force her into correction, leaving the villainous girl confused by the sudden shift as the boy squeezes her face. Furious at the delay, the protagonist curses the system and tells the woman to drink her own poison. Suddenly, magic chains burst from nothingness and lock the woman in place, leaving her no way out. She gasps, stunned to see the boy hovering in the air, and wonders what strange trick he's using. Squeezed by the pressure, the prisoner starts begging him to stop right now. Looking so sad, the boy wishes the system had come earlier so his loved one wouldn't have died. He is so full of hatred that he decides to show no pity at all to that killer. Soon after, our hero steps calmly through a digital doorway made by the interface. Once he crossed over, he spotted a dark, cramped space that looked just like a prison cell. A floating sign warns that you must meet specific rules before using this place. Tied up with no way to escape, the woman screams and begs to know what object he used to trap her. The boy brushes off her fuss and asks the system straight up how to grab the rewards. The blue screen cuts straight to the choice: wipe her out or try to fix her twisted mind. Tears streaming down his face, the villain begs for a way out as the panel waits for the master's verdict. As the kid reads the details, he finds out that the forced refinement will actually boost his level as a bonus. Furious at being ignored, the blonde keeps screaming for attention. Our hero's eyes lock on the prizes, and seeing the amazing Phoenix reward, he decides that wasting time training this crazy woman now would be a big mistake. Without hesitation, he triggers the direct refinement to shatter his own strength limits, and the woman screams in agony as she is hit by blinding beams of light. Tears streaming down her face like a scared child, she begs him to stop the pain, promising to do anything, even becoming a slave or a maid. The system never stops tightening its grip, increasing the punishment until the prisoner can no longer hold on. Just then, a red alarm blares, warning that other cultivators are closing in on the boy's body. With a sudden yank, the kid snaps back to reality in a heartbeat. Back in the prison dimension, the naughty woman dangles there, sweating coldly until the pain stops and she cheers that she survived the worst. Beneath her, a progress bar freezes at 50%, but back in the real world, a henchman blasts the room's door open with a violent kick. When a man walks inside and sees only the boy, he feels something is wrong and asks where Sister Fong is. Our hero turns his head with a bored look to face the arrogant intruder. Lying through his teeth, he makes up a tale about the woman vanishing into isolation, but ignoring that excuse, he grabs the kid and declares he'll fill the ranks himself. The boy is pulled along unwillingly, soaring on a magic blade with a whole squad right beside him. Curious about their real mission, the henchman asks the leader in the middle of the night. The captain looks down at the scattered bodies of their enemies and recalls the recent massacre. With a smile, the leader reveals that their goal is to hunt down the platinum-haired master hiding in a cave, and as our hero hears the assassin's name, their eyes glow with a burning desire for revenge. As we reach the entrance to this strange canyon, we find dozens of sect members already standing there. The elder takes charge, ordering the cannon fodder to line up and wait, while the boy watches the crowd and knows this is a suicide mission. Over there, some bad guys are already plotting to grab the enemy beauty alive, so they can use her. Suddenly, the system beeps and cheers the kid on for finishing half of the prisoner's reform. His power skyrockets, instantly pushing him to the 5th stage of body forging, which leaves the guy watching in awe as he gets stronger right before the fight. The hero hides his shock, pretending to cheer while feeling uneasy about getting so much power from just half the deal, and the spokesperson shouts for quiet because the real boss has just shown up. The disciples quickly bow their heads in total respect as the great master Shurao floats down, surrounded by a terrifying purple glow. The extras start to break out in a cold sweat of terror as they feel the old man's powerful aura pressing down on them. The leader scoffed at the group, waving them off to skip all the useless formalities. The main elder bowed respectfully and thanked the sect master for coming. Right behind her, a rabbit woman hands out pills she claims are a magical potion for strength. Gazing at the red ball in his hand, our hero knows there's a trap because he remembers the dirty past behind this medicine and is sure it's meant to hurt him. From the back, the old man yells at the troops to move forward and take the platinum-haired woman without any mercy. The boy quickly shoves the pill into his mouth and fakes swallowing it to avoid notice, while the leader stirs up the cannon fodder by claiming the enemy is dying. The master grins with a wicked look and promises that as long as they all strike together, nothing bad can happen. Blinded by the dream of winning, the disciples rush into the cave like crazy men, screaming that the enemy master is theirs even as their eyes turn red and veins bulge from the pill they took. Watching the chaos take over the soldiers, the hero realizes the pill turned them all into crazy, violent zombies. As the crazy gang dives into the dark canyon and finds the platinum-haired Fallon lying broken on the ground, soaked in blood with her clothes ripped, she can barely take another breath. With a wild animal's leap, the drug henchman lunges at the woman, but the villainous man spits blood in disgust at the scum daring to touch her. With a laugh that defies all sense, she pulls out a towering green blade and wipes the entire room clean. With a sharp insult on her lips, she swings the giant blade at the panicked crowd, while the frozen invader in front suddenly sees that he has just made the biggest mistake of his life. Green energy blasts flew through the air, cutting the sect disciples to pieces like they weren't even there. Crouched behind a huge rock, he watches the carnage and barely dodges the danger, giving a cynical smirk as he thinks that joining them would have turned him into mincemeat already. On the cave floor, the dead bodies start to bubble up into a strange pool of blood, and the platinum-haired master stares in wide-eyed shock, unable to understand what kind of magic he is witnessing. Suddenly, pillars of fire and energy burst from the scattered blood, catching her completely off guard, so the exhausted villainess drops to her knees with no way out, knowing defeat has come. Just as the platinum-haired woman stops in the thick red mist, she realizes something terrible has gone wrong. She presses her hand to her face as she feels the weird effects of the exploding bodies, while a disgusting old man sneaks up behind her and says the pill was just a trap all along. With a wicked laugh, the master shouts that the blood fog is full of love poison, and right away the villain starts panting as she loses control of her body. Totally overcome by the poison, she screams that it feels like the heat is unbearable. Crouching in the shadows, our hero wipes blood from his face, stares at the mess with disgust, and realizes after such a cruel hit that the crime bosses are even worse than wild animals. Suddenly, the woman hears a noise, shouts to find out who is there, and steps out of the shadows to mock her by asking if she really thought she could hide. Caught off guard by his appearance, the assassin realizes this is the trash from yesterday, who should be dead, just as the system flashes a warning that the woman's rage is only at 50% and not yet strong enough to capture him. She snatches up her sword, figuring that she has to taunt the enemy until her hatred boils over to its peak. He sneers at the great mistress, asking if she can only vent her rage on a nobody like him, while the boy warns her that she'll soon become a living furnace for the sect just to survive. With her head spinning, the woman snaps at him to shut up and rushes forward to attack him in a fit of rage. With burning rage, she curses her traitorous ally who dragged her into this mess, swearing that her hatred will soon turn the entire sect to ash, starting with his death. The boy dodges the deadly strikes and mentally checks if his rage bar is full, but the system ruins his plan by warning that the malice is stuck at 90%. Suddenly, the master lunges at the kid, whipping up a magic tornado to slice him apart. The poison drains her strength from her hand, causing her to drop the sword and collapse to the ground, leaving her completely defenseless. Our hero clicks his tongue in frustration as he hits the system's limit, while far away, a heavy weapon crashes down onto the stones with a dry thud. With arms crossed, the boy just watches the scary villain crawl at his feet, while a confused woman struggles to make her frozen body move again. Overwhelmed by the heat, the prisoner groans and slumps against the stone, losing all her strength. Outside, the nasty old man laughs, promising she'll soon be begging for help, while the leering master stands at the door and vows to come in once she has suffered enough. Deep inside the cave, muffled screams start echoing off the stone walls. With the platinum-haired woman completely broken and losing her mind on the cold ground, our hero stays focused and pushes his body forging to the 9th level, using the energy around him to grow stronger. Now calm, the kid stands up and feels a surge of new power rushing through him. And while watching her, he praises the girl's sacred body, which seems to push anyone nearby to train even harder. In an awkward quiet, the two stood there trying to make sense of what just occurred, with the boy shamelessly blaming her and claiming he only gave in because her spiritual pressure was so huge. The kid grinned without a shred of shame and swore he was just an innocent victim of the enemy's wild urges. Furious from the shame, the platinum-haired woman stares at her attacker with a look of pure rage. With one last try, the woman grabs the sword's handle that's lying on the ground. Fueled by a deadly urge, the villain screamed in rage, wondering if he thought he'd walk away alive after hurting her. Flying straight at the kid, she lunges to tear his head off, but the system beeps as her hatred hits the breaking point. The hero laughs in the assassin's face and activates the prison, yanking the crazy woman into a new dimension as the blue screen labels her a false justice killer. With no time to waste, the protagonist yells for the system to throw the woman in red out, and just as she tumbles into the real world, the silver-haired girl gets sucked into the virtual space. The moment she steps into the realm, the deadly master gets wrapped in heavy metal chains. Reaching out, the boy commands his trap to snap shut before she can fight back, leaving the startled villain to flail uselessly as the system's power pins her firmly in midair. As soon as our hero stepped into the virtual dungeon, he began walking with an aura that commanded respect from everyone around him. With a cruel grin on his face, he readies himself to begin the torture show as dark prison walls hang with twisted tools and whips waiting to be used. Trapped in a wooden cage, the platinum-haired woman hits rock bottom after losing her power, only for the boy to yank her hair and declare he now holds the keys to her life and death. The prisoner, stunned, wonders who such a crazy trickster could be, only for the kid to answer by smashing the whip down on her back with all his strength. With his hand on her chin to shut her up about the forbidden spot, the hero watches the blue panel and asks how much gold he'll get for taming the beast perfectly. The boy beams with pure joy, knowing he's about to unlock powerful new levels and a sacred flame within himself. He grips the whip tightly, eyes locked on the prize, ready to deal even more pain to her. His eyes burned with evil as he vowed to punish the prisoner with all his might. The mighty leader, writhing in pain, begs him to make the cruel punishment stop. Suddenly, a red alarm blares to warn that enemies are closing in on him in the real world. Outside, a massive purple blast tears the cave's wall apart in an instant, sending rocks flying and filling the Hydia with swirling dust. Through the thick smoke, the ugly old man and his bad followers finally show up, and the leader sneers at the fairy, asking if she kept him waiting. Suddenly snapped back to reality, our boy sees that the invasion is about to destroy everything. The kid looks around and sees that the only way out is blocked by a whole army of enemies. With no other way out, the hero decides he must fight with everything he has, but before he even attacks, he coughs up blood, realizing how drained he is from fighting just moments ago. With just a quick move, the old man blows away the poisonous fog, so everyone can see again, and right in the middle of the fight, the attackers suddenly realize the woman they wanted has completely disappeared. With trembling legs, the terrified henchman tells his master that only one disciple survives among the dead, while the girl in red collapses in despair and cries out that the woman they captured was never the Real Platinum Master. She looks around with a puzzled frown, wondering how she suddenly found herself in the middle of this canyon. Raging with fury, the old man stomps down on the girl's back to keep the real target trapped, then presses his boot to her head and demands to know where the true assassin is hiding. Outside, the advisor tries to reassure the shaken leader that the enemy likely died in the blast with their troops, but the grumpy old man distrusts the claim and yanks the girl's hair on the ground, insisting that someone so powerful wouldn't just vanish so easily. Amidst the chaos, the master radiates a scary purple glow of anger while tugging the prisoner's clothes to blame the girl for tricking everyone with a fake disguise. The leader tears open the rival's dress to reveal the secret mark on her chest. Confused by the master's attitude, the henchman beside him asks what it all means. With a spooky grin, the old man declares that she is the real Bing Bing, all part of a cheap trick. Desperate, the girl insists she's just a humble follower and not the enemy's leader, but the master, convinced by his own theory, argues that only an assassin could have such a powerful spiritual presence. The old man laughs at her denial and points to the back of the cave, where a living witness is ready to tell the truth. Seeing his name, our hero stops dead in the shadows as the girl in red grabs the boy by the neck with magic and blames him for her terrible trouble. The woman hoists the kid high into the air, screaming that she wouldn't team up with a loser, while the protagonist chokes on blood and the master forces the kid to admit his side of the tale. Our hero rubs his bruised chin, sweat breaking out as he sees he's trapped and must quickly figure out how to avoid the furious master's deadly trap. The boy pretends to be shackled, bows his head, and thanks the elder for saving his life. He shamelessly makes up a story that the real platinum master blew herself up to cause all that damage to the henchman. Stopping suddenly, the kid locks eyes with the old man to show he means it. He kept up his performance, saying that after the blast, the villainous one swapped her face and became this girl in red. Satisfied with the lie, the master bursts into laughter and orders the fake disciple arrested on the spot. While being dragged away, she swears she will never forgive the protagonist, not even after she's dead. With his arms crossed, the elder urges the leader to pull back fast because the fight is still raging. But then he suddenly halts and glares suspiciously at the boy. Suspicious of the survivor, the elder asks how the kid didn't blow up like the others after taking the deadly pill. The little hero squeezed his hands tight, knowing the hard question was coming and getting ready to tell another lie. The boy made up a quick story that he suddenly felt sick and passed out before the pill could do any harm. Curious about the resistance, the elder realizes the kid must have a special body that poisons can't hurt, and then two old men with evil smiles start whispering scary plans. With a sudden move, the elder presses his hand onto the boy's shoulder, startling him before joyfully declaring that from this day on, the kid will be his personal apprentice in the Alchemy Hall. Knowing it was a trap, our hero acts innocent, thanks him for the fake promotion, and bows his head. The hero hides his rage because he knows those old Jesusers plan to use him as a test subject to prove their poison works later. Before anyone could even blink, the old men vanished on floating swords, pulling the boy right along with them. When they reached the fortress, they rushed straight into the mysterious Alchemy Hall. Inside, a huge pot spills out magical flames while young students busy themselves mixing potions. With a big grin, the old master tells his fresh student he has a special job to do right now, and the boy chats lightly before saying the master can ask for anything and he will follow even if it means dying. The old man pulls his hand from his sleeve and warns that the training won't be easy, then dumps a handful of colorful pills on the table and orders the boy to swallow them all at once. The boy's eyes go wide with shock as the elder mocks him, asking if his poison resistance is gone. While staring at the huge pile of strange balls, the kid admits he has turned into nothing more than a human lab rat. Trying to buy time, he stammers, "It's too much at once," while the old man slaps the table in anger, warning that lying to a superior has serious consequences. With no escape, the little hero grabs the first pill and hopes his fake body won't break when the pain hits, while the master takes a scroll to write down every reaction the boy shows. As the protagonist swallows the poison and sweats from the old man's maniacal stare, a loud explosion outside shakes the ground and tears a hole in the ceiling. So angry at the noise, the elder curses and complains that the enemy is attacking again. But the boy sees his chance and tells the master to go fight while he promises to keep taking the pills by himself. Believing the rat was just being silly, the old man took the deal and dashed straight to the front lines. After a long sigh of relief, our lucky hero decides to sneak all the fancy flasks from the shelf and run away before anyone can stop him. Just before running away, he turns on the system to free the platinum-haired master from his digital cage, and as the woman tumbles out of the glowing portal, her wide eyes stare in shock at the strange new world around her. After catching his breath and shaking off his ragged clothes, the killer beams with pure relief at finally escaping that hellish place. He grabbed her collar and warned that she was still his slave with no way to run away. He points to the shelves and orders the woman to use her knowledge to sort out the useful pills, but the platinum herd leader just grumbles, confused that her disciples used to take care of that for her. The kid ignores the excuse, demands she finish it fast and find the good medicine, and while the proud master kneels in the dirt, he can't help but wonder how his queen turned into a thug's maid. Suddenly, her gaze locks on something strange in her new master's hand, revealing he is still clutching the deadly first pill he never swallowed. With a wicked grin, the woman decides that once she finds the glowing potion on the high shelf, she can heal herself and kill him, even though she's lying about it being a cure for his condition. As the boy turns his back to check the pot, the villain strikes faster than a snake, driven by despair and ready to knock him down with a sudden blow. In a desperate act, the woman snatches the poison pill from his hand and shoves it in her own mouth, causing him to spin around and yell in shock at her bold theft. With a dark laugh, the platinum-haired woman reveals that his despair proves the pill works. Then her sinister pink aura explodes outward, making her howl with uncontrollable power. Suddenly realizing her body was betraying her, the prisoner panics in terror, unsure what's happening as her magic vanishes and a strange fire takes over everything. The platinum-haired woman blushes deeply and whispers that the pill's effect is all too familiar, causing the protagonist to realize the old man tried to force a potent aphrodisiac from a powerful sect onto him. Desperate, the woman crawls across the ground, tugs on the boy's pants, and begs for help right away. Driven by desire, the assassin begs him to stop waiting and give her what she needs right now. With a mocking grin, the kid reminds her that she wanted to slice him in half just a minute ago, and as he holds her chin firmly, she whines that she was wrong. With a sharp pull on the chain, the hero commands the hero to show she's truly changed if she wants any help, and with no escape left, the powerful master bites her lip and finally gives in. With the prisoner crawling on the ground begging for punishment, the system flashes a warning that the hero has just reached the Q condensation level. Puffed up with pride, the boy claims the great leader of the good side is now just a dog wagging its tail at his feet. Right by her ear, the kid warns it's her last shot, and the woman screams she'll never disobey again. As chaos erupts in the hall, the potions on the wooden shelf start shaking wildly. And after a while, the shirtless protagonist stretches with a groan, complaining that it took a huge toll to force his body to neutralize the poison's effects. Tucked away in the corner and dressed only in rags, the platinum-haired woman mutters angrily, frustrated that she has been caught by this bastard again. Just then, a blue screen popped up in front of the boy, telling him that his first big change was done and a brand new room was waiting for him. The kid leans in, his eyes fixed on the strange message he's just received, eager to figure out what it means. Suddenly, a huge glowing red door pops open, showing the hero has found something amazing.